There and back again. A Hobbit's Tale by Bilbo Baggins.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy continues to be one of the most genuinely impressive feats of modern popular cinema ever attempted and completed. And like the Hobbits punching way above their weight class in the Battle for Middle-earth, Peter Jackson may have been an unexpected figure to pull the feat off. We have talked about multiple early movies that Peter Jackson wrote and directed. From his splatter phase, we talked about his 1992 zombie comedy Braindead, which enraged some New Zealanders by using public money to make such an excessively gross zombie film.
To assess the gravity of the loss, we went to see the Commission's latest project, a film the Commission is funding to the tune of pretty much $2.5 million. In a way, this film is the sort of thing the government has decided to discard.
Good. Great, thank you. Fantastic.
Brain Dead is the title. It's what's known as a splatter movie, a movie about zombies.
All of Peter Jackson's early work was done on a fairly small budget, with help mostly from the New Zealand Film Commission. And in 1994, we've talked about Heavenly Creatures, a very beautiful and somewhat conceptual biopic about the Parker Hume murder. In order to do the more abstract parts of Heavenly Creatures, Peter Jackson founded Weta Digital, a visual effects company.
Started on Weta Digital Heavenly Creatures with one silicon graphics computer, one single box. I think we actually still have it, and I think we it's a doorstop now. I think we use it to keep the door open. We've sort of got a memorial doorstop. But that one's so bloody expensive, and it took us forever to save up and buy it. And it was like, that was one computer in Heavenly Creatures, and now we've got probably 6,000 or 7,000 computers probably. It's got a little bit bigger.
Along with Richard Taylor and Jamie Selkirk, who would go on to work on The Lord of the Rings. It was Heavenly Creatures that gave Peter Jackson and his partner and co-writer Fran Walsh the ability to make their first big-budget Hollywood blockbuster.
It's absolutely not Orson Welles! The most hideous man alive!
The Frighteners in 1996, starring Michael J. Fox, Trini Alvarado, Peter Dobson, and John Ashton. Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh had been hired by Robert Zemeckis as writers, and Peter Jackson ended up getting to direct, impressing everyone at Universal. It was originally slated to be a spin-off of Tales from the Crypt, but became its own universe. However, the Frighteners' budget was only $26 million. For Peter Jackson's next project, he'd be given 10 times that over 3 years. Peter Jackson's next project was supposed to be King Kong, but for the moment that fell through since Godzilla and Mighty Joe Young were set to come out already. Remember when Hollywood worried about making too many of the same films at the same time? I missed that. In 1997, Peter Jackson entered negotiations with Saul Zaentz to win the rights for J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Zaentz had them from when he and Ralph Bakshi did the rotoscoped Lord of the Rings film in 1978. One of the things that made the trilogy such an impressive feat, and it wasn't always set to be a trilogy, Peter Jackson was pressured to turn it into 2 and then even 1 film, is that it was shot consecutively. The principal photography for the trilogy began October 11th, 1999, and ended December 22nd, 2000. From there, pickup shots were done every year from 2001 to 2004 to get anything they had missed. Most of the filming was done within New Zealand's national parks and conservation areas, as well as sound stages in Wellington and Queenstown. Post-production was also done pretty much consecutively, with each film getting a year before the next film was set to be released.
Tops has been like 500,000 feet of film. We're getting avid storage, we're getting 1.5 terabytes of storage set up and 6 avids hooked together. Okay. Just gearing up for the biggest thing any of us have ever seen.
The size of the project was quite amazing. The amount of footage that was turned over through the cutting room was nothing I'd ever seen before. Normally
we'd have a ratio of 12 or 15 to 1, but on this I think we end up about 150 to 1, so that's a lot of film.
Some stages we had like 7 and 8 units out shooting, all producing footage.
How many units have we got? I've lost count.
A big part of what made this entire thing, well, possible, but also so groundbreaking, was the extensive use of motion capture with Weta Digital, advancing the technology farther than it ever had been before.
I hate you. I hate you. Where would you be without me? Ellen, I saved us.
Motion capture was most often used with characters like Gollum, who were on 2 legs and had motion that could be captured from the movements of an actor. One of the biggest innovations in animation and visual effects was the massive software package. Developed for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it allowed the generation of crowd sequences for battles.
The great thing with the technology that we devised over the years is that we were able to make continual improvements to it, and obviously the massive software that was written for Lord of the Rings was a good case, because we wrote this to enable us to have these computer-generated armies which would behave naturally and look natural and not look like they were replicated bits of computer programming.
The cast of all these films was huge, with each film adding entire populated areas of Middle-earth. By the time you have Return of the King, you have characters from the Shire, Rivendell, Lothlorien, Rohan, Gondor, Isengard, and of course Mordor. I'm not even going to try to recite the entire cast, but the main Fellowship members alone were Elijah Wood, Sean Ashton, Ian McKellen, Viggo Mortensen, Orlando Bloom, John Rhys-Davies, Sean Bean, Billy Boyd, and Dominic Moynihan. 4 hobbits, 2 men, an elf, a dwarf, and a wizard. The overall budget for all 3 films was $281 million. After Miramax bought the rights and Harvey Weinstein tried to push them all into one film, Peter Jackson pushed Weinstein into allowing another company, New Line, to buy it. $281 million is still an impressively small amount, considering the later Hobbit trilogy would cost $623 million. The films made $2.9 billion at the box office. Fellowship of the Ring came out in December 2001, The Two Towers December 2002, Return of the King December 2003. In 2004, The Return of the King swept the Oscars, taking home 11 awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Art Direction, Best Costume Design, Best Editing, Best Makeup, Best Original Score, Best Original Song, and Best Visual Effects.
Gun knuckles for 8!
And Rohan will answer.